Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Ethereum is getting really close to a volatile move because, as you can see just here, the price is still currently trading within this range, but the volume on the Ethereum chart is decreasing to the downside, which is a sign of a potential volatile move coming very soon. And we also have the average true range for Ethereum rapidly depleting to the downside, which is another sign for a volatile move coming soon. I'll be covering my next Ethereum price targets and my Ethereum strategy in just a moment in this video. And later in this video, I'll be covering Ethereum versus Bitcoin just here because we did actually see a small little fake out to the upside. That is basically when we see a breakout with no confirmation and then the price dips straight back into the pattern itself. I'll also quickly be covering the Ethereum funding rates because this is really important if you are holding Ethereum or if you are wanting to buy into Ethereum. All of that and more in this video. So make sure you're watching the entire video all the way to the end so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And if that sounds good to you, just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. I post these videos every single day here on the channel, so if you could just spend a couple seconds out of your day to click like and subscribe, that seriously means a lot to me and it helps out the channel so much. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. So right here we're on the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame. And quickly recapping yesterday's video, I mentioned yesterday after we actually saw that small rejection from this line of resistance, while the price was heading to the downside here, I'll let you guys know that in the short term, we have support for Ethereum coming in at 3.1K. And the Ethereum price found support at around 3,110. So pretty close to our level of support that I'll let you guys know about before we actually saw that bounce. Because once again, we were expecting a bounce from that level before that actually happens. But while Ethereum has been trading within this parallel channel over the past 1 week approximately, the volume for Ethereum has actually been declining to the downside. As you can see just here, over the past 1 week pretty much, we've been constantly forming lower highs in the Ethereum volume, showing that obviously the volume is dropping off here, which is potentially setting us up for a volatile move coming soon, because the lower the volume is, the easier it is to manipulate the price of Ethereum. And so if we're on really low volume, someone with a lot of money can come along and just sell a lot of Ethereum or buy a lot of Ethereum and create a very volatile movement in the Ethereum price when the volume is really low once again. So that's usually a sign that we're about to see a volatile move coming soon. And usually when that volatile move does happen, we see a major spike in volume that actually breaks this downtrend. So if you're dragging this downtrend out a little bit further, pretty much from where we are right now to around the end of this downtrend, that's not even a week, that's around 4 to 5 days from now. So seriously, within the next few days just here in the short term, we are due for a volatile move. Now, of course, the volume itself doesn't tell us whether that move is going to be to the upside or to the downside. And that's why we have to pay attention to some other indicators as well. And first of all, taking a look at the average true range just here. This is also another indicator that does show us that a volatile move is coming soon, because basically this just shows us the volatility for Ethereum during the short term just here. And obviously the volatility has vastly dropped off to the downside. Now zooming out to the daily time frame, the last time the average true range looked just like this was right back here in around March, April, and May 2021. As you can see, starting from the end of February this year, we had a long drawn out downtrend in this average true range indicator, which was telling us that the volatility for Ethereum on the daily time frame was becoming less and less, as we were pretty much just trading sideways throughout all of March and April just there. But yeah, leading in towards the second half of April, as you can see just here, we did actually see a nice little pickup in the average true range, showing that volatility was starting to pick up. And then we actually had a couple little short-term cool-offs along the way in this little price range just here in around the middle to end of April once again. So that sideways consolidation meant that the average true range also actually had a little bit of a sideways price action, if not slightly to the downside, before a continuation of this trend to the upside that we actually started in the beginning of the month, just like what we're seeing right now. In the beginning of the month, we did actually start a nice little uptrend in the short term after a long drawn out downtrend in this indicator. And right now we are at our first little hurdle. We are entering into, some sideways volatility just here, just like what we were seeing in around the end of April 2021, which by the way, that came just before a major volatile move in Ethereum. And of course, that move that we saw back there throughout the first half of May 2.4K was a volatile move to the upside. And in fact, that move just there from the lows that we saw in around the 23rd of April, approximately up to the all-time high for Ethereum, that was over a 100% gain for Ethereum. So of course, the next volatile move doesn't have to be a 100% move. Zooming into the 4-hour time frame, it could even be just a quick move down to, this support range just here, or a quick move up towards around 3.8K, which is our next Fibonacci level. But yeah, either way, as soon as we either break this resistance just here or the support just here, that's when we will know the direction that we are heading for this next move. And so the support right now for Ethereum on this parallel channel is actually coming in at around 3,130 approximately. And right now the resistance is coming in at around 3.4K. So of course, once again, if we break above 3.4K, that means the next volatile move is going to be to the upside. If we break below 3.1K approximately, that means the next volatile move will be to the downside. And as I always mention on this channel, anytime we break an important level on the chart, we need to see some sort of confirmation. So once again, what I was just explaining about the volume just here, if we do see that volatile move or a break of one of these levels, we need to see a spike in the volume or a surge in the volume. If we do not see the volume pick up at all, that is a reason to be skeptical of the price action, because potentially the volatile move is still to come if the volume didn't actually pick up at all. So I am paying close attention to the volume just here on the Ethereum chart. And another confirmation method that I use, and the subscribers would already know by now, I pay attention to a retest of the previous significant level that we actually broke. So for example, if we break support, if we actually come back up and retest that support and confirm it as resistance, then that is basically a successful retest confirming a break to the downside. And then on the flip side, if we actually break above resistance and then come back down to retest it as new support, get a bounce along that level, that is a successful retest to the upside, meaning that we are breaking to the upside, obviously. And now getting into some short-term price targets for Ethereum. I did actually explain this in yesterday's Ethereum video, but I'll quickly recap it again for the new viewers on the channel. This type of pattern could have potential to play out like a bull flag if we do break the resistance just here. So looking at the bull flag price target for Ethereum, if we break the resistance once again, that price target's coming in at around 3.8K. So from the point of the break just there to that price target, that is around a 12% profit to be made in Ethereum. So obviously a pretty decent gain for Ethereum in the short term. If you're using something like a 10x leverage, that is a 120% gain on Ethereum. Now, I never recommend using leverage for the complete beginners out there, but if you do have some experience in these markets and you do want to actually give trading a go, of course you have to know the risks involved, but I do have links down below to trading tutorials and the platforms that I use to trade. And what's very interesting about that price target just there that I did actually explain yesterday once again is bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool on the daily time frame just here. As you can see, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level coming in at around 3.8K, pretty much that exact same price target out of that potential bull flag just there. And what's also interesting is we have the 61.8% Fibonacci level, which is one of the most important Fibonacci levels on the chart, coming in at around 3.4K, which is the actual resistance for this parallel channel anyway. Anything above 3.8K, if we can really start breaking above 3.8 to 3.9 thousand, then I'll pretty much be targeting towards the all-time high itself, coming in at around 4.4K. But now that that price target's out of the way, where are some levels of support to pay attention to in case we do actually break below this support of this parallel channel, once again at around 3.1K? First of all, we have initial support coming in at around 3,000 US dollars, and this is really a price range all the way down to 2.8K. In this entire range just here, there are a lot of buyers for Ethereum waiting to buy Ethereum, obviously. And the last couple times that we have dipped into this price range, we haven't actually stayed in that price range for very long, because once again, there's a lot of people wanting to buy Ethereum down here. But if there's enough sellers to actually sell through all of those buy orders, and if we do really start breaking below 2.8K, then the next important support level to pay attention to is right around here at around 2,500 US dollars. And bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool just here, what's really interesting is we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level coming in at pretty much exactly 3,000 US dollars. And we also have the golden pocket, the 61.8% Fibonacci level coming in at almost exactly 2.8K. So once again, those are the important levels of support that I just mentioned. They are also Fibonacci levels of support. And the next level below 2.8K, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level coming in at around 2.6K. So that is pretty close to that actual support down here. But yeah, my strategy in Ethereum right now is essentially just preparing for a potential buying opportunity moving forward, because I did actually cover a few bearish signs that were showing in the Bitcoin chart over on my Bitcoin video that I just uploaded on the the channel. So if you missed that video, definitely check it out after you finish watching this video, because believe it or not, Bitcoin is important to pay attention to if you are in Ethereum, because Ethereum and Bitcoin tend to move pretty close together. But yeah, in that case, if Bitcoin does see a move to the downside, it is actually quite likely that it would drag down Ethereum along with it. And in that case, once again, we would see a nice little buying opportunity moving forward. And so that is why I'm actually preparing for a little bit of a buying opportunity moving forward. Now, of course, we don't have to see a buying opportunity. I'm just preparing for one because we do have a few signs revealing themselves that we could have one sometime soon. But of course, do your own research as well. This is just my strategy moving forward, and it's up to you what you do with your money, of course. And then I have not set it up right now, but I am thinking of setting up a conditional long position order somewhere up here at around 3,500 approximately, in case we do see a strong break to the upside. But once again, I have not set that up just yet, and I'll let you guys know that when I do. And once again, trading Ethereum like that, especially if you're using leverage, should only be for the more experienced traders and investors out there. Now, quickly checking out the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart just here, this is actually a reason why we need to see confirmation anytime we break an important level. I always explain on this channel that I always pay attention for confirmation if we are breaking out to the upside or to the downside, because as you can see just here, we were breaking out to the upside, and we even got not only a 4-hourly close, but a daily candle close above this line of resistance just here. So if you're paying attention to just the candle closes, this would have looked like a pretty strong breakout to the upside. But of course, we came back down to the retest of this level, and obviously if we held that level as support, that would have acted as confirmation, but we did not hold that level as support, and we came back down immediately into this pattern itself and broke that important level, which basically confirmed this as a fake out, not a breakout. And once again, we never saw a major spike or a surge in volume when we were breaking out to the upside here. So that was also another reason to be skeptical of that price action. So where does that put us now? Well, once again, it puts us right back into the pattern itself. And so we are actually getting very close to a move outside of this pattern. Of course, we did once again see that little fake out, but I'm talking about a proper breakout to the upside or to the downside. From where we are right now to the end of this triangle, that's only around 2 days away. So pretty much within the next 2 days, it's very likely that we are going to leave this pattern once again in a pretty strong move to the upside or to the downside. Now, usually if Bitcoin can just kind of consolidate sideways or even have a slight little pullback, that can actually help this Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart break to the upside here. But if the overall crypto market has a pullback, so if Bitcoin has a strong pullback and that drags a lot of the altcoins down with it, usually in that much more bearish scenario, Ethereum does actually dump a little bit harder than Bitcoin. So in that case, it will be likely for Ethereum to actually head to the downside against Bitcoin once again if the overall crypto market enters into another little bit of bearish time period. But yeah, in terms of the exact price targets out of this pattern just here, I actually mentioned them in yesterday's Ethereum video. I've already repeated a lot of that video in this video, so I don't want to have the subscribers just hear the same thing over and over. So for the new viewers on the channel that missed the exact price targets out of this pattern just here, definitely check out my last Ethereum update on this YouTube channel after you finish watching this video. And now zooming out to the daily time frame on this Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart just here and bringing out the average true range once again. As you can see just here, we are actually in a somewhat similar point on the chart right now compared to where we were right back here in the end of 2020. In fact, what we've been playing out over the last 1 to 2 months just here is actually a giant fractal from what we saw in around November, December 2020 once again. As you can see, leading into November 2020, we actually had some downside price action, just like what we saw here in the first half of July this year. And then we saw a nice little bounce for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, came back down and formed somewhat horizontal lows just here to actually complete a W pattern to the upside. And then we had some sideways consolidation, which was also forming a small triangle pattern before a break to the downside. And as you can see just here, recently over the past 1 to 2 months, we came back down, had a nice little bounce to the upside, came back down to form somewhat horizontal lows, forming this W pattern on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart just here, breaking out to the upside and then forming this sideways consolidation in this small little triangle pattern, just like what we saw all the way back here in December 2020 once again. And now a quick disclaimer, previous price history can't necessarily predict exactly what's going to happen next, but this can give us an idea of what we could expect for Ethereum moving forward against Bitcoin, especially because of the fact that the average true range is also following very closely to where we were back there on the chart. Once again, we had a long drawn out downtrend in this indicator and then this small little uptrend, this little bounce to the upside here, and then we came back down right as we were forming this triangle pattern after after the W pattern in the price once again. So yeah, after the W pattern in the price and then the triangle pattern once again, that's after we've had this downside action in this indicator and then this little bounce to the upside and a short-term little pullback in this average true range, exactly like what we saw in the end of 2020. So what did actually happen next after we saw all of that in the end of 2020? Well, we did actually have a decent move to the downside in the short term. So that actually made for an amazing buying opportunity that was coming in the following weeks. So that move to the downside actually lasted for around 2 weeks approximately. And from the point of the break just here all the way to the bottom, that was around a 20% move to the downside, give or take. So once again, a decent buying opportunity for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And we also saw another amazing buying opportunity back here in the end of March 2021. And by the way, if you were on the YouTube channel during that time period just there, in fact, throughout the entire month of March this year, I was telling every single one of you on the channel at that time that Ethereum versus Bitcoin was in an amazing buying opportunity. In fact, on that time, I was publicly showing on the channel that I was actually selling a lot of Bitcoin to move into Ethereum because I was essentially predicting a major move to the upside coming over the next few months right here. And so yeah, considering the fact that Ethereum versus Bitcoin has actually been pretty much just ranging sideways for quite a while, it does make sense for another volatile move coming soon. And so there's a few indicators that could actually show us the potential direction of that move. But either way, we have our price targets in play as well. And if we do move to the downside, I would simply be converting a little bit more Bitcoin into Ethereum if we come back down to these lower price levels of support down here, which by the way, I mentioned these areas of support in my last few Ethereum updates. So definitely check those out if you didn't already. And quickly checking out the Ethereum funding rates right here, because this is actually really important for all of you Ethereum holders out there. As you can see, a lot of these funding rates are extremely positive. They are in the red, showing that right now this is actually another bearish sign in the short term, because basically when these funding rates are extremely positive, that means the majority of positions out there are long positions, not short positions. So when the majority of people out there are in long positions, that actually puts the bulls in a vulnerable position, because of course those long positions have already bought into Bitcoin, the buying power has already been used, and so to close those long positions you need to actually sell Bitcoin to exit those long positions. And eventually these long positions will have to exit at some time, they will have to close at some time. So this is basically selling pressure that is waiting to happen, that is not yet happening. So once again, that is why this is actually a short-term bearish sign for Ethereum. And anytime we see the funding rates overly positive or overly negative, that's usually when we see a major squeeze, a huge liquidation event. So of course, if the funding rates are extremely negative, showing the majority of people are in short positions, that usually happens just before we see a massive short squeeze. But when the funding rates are extremely positive, that's usually just before we actually see a long squeeze. And I actually explained all of this in much more detail over in my Bitcoin video that I just uploaded on this channel around 1 to 2 hours before this video once again. So after you finish watching this video, once again, definitely check out my Bitcoin update on this YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're leaving a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. I post these videos every single day here on the channel. So once again, if you could just spend a couple seconds out of your day to click like and subscribe, it costs you nothing and it seriously means a lot to me and it helps out the channel so much. If you have any feedback or suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway, that's really everything I have to say for this video. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed and I'll see you all in the next video.